I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we dive into the enchanting world of Venice Beach, Florida, through Linda Dunn's captivating book, A Tale of Teeth, or How Venice Beach, Florida became the shark's tooth capital of the world. In the book, we will discover a unique fairy tale blending environmental challenges with magical solutions. Join us as we explore this imaginative story of water fairies and their quest to solve a pressing ecological issue. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Atticus Publishing for helping us put her in the spotlight today. And we ask viewers like you to support writers like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her remarkable book. The links are below this interview. Linda, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Great to be here, Logan.
Tell us a little bit about A Tale of Teeth. Give the folks at home an overview of what your book is about.
Well, I've always loved the water. It's been my thing. And when I joined the Navy, I always thought I'd be a sailor and on the ship, but they didn't send me there. But they did send me to a couple of really great beaches like Pensacola and Jacksonville. But when I retired, I'd gone down to the west coast of Florida because it's absolutely gorgeous with the softer waters and the beaches that are whiter. And I'd heard whispers of the shark's tooth capital of the world, and I didn't believe it. So I actually looked on Wikipedia, and they are in there as the shark's tooth capital of the world. And I went down to start visiting, and I found my first shark's tooth. And it's not easy to find the first shark's tooth, but when you do, you see them everywhere. So I have jars of shark's teeth everywhere, and I just wanted to let kids know about this whole thing, and I figured just turn it into a fairy tale.
Well, that's great backstory for your story. When I heard there was a lot of shark's teeth down in Venice Beach, Florida, I was concerned there might be a lot of sharks there too. So that was part of it.
Never seen one. I have
Never
never
seen
seen.
one. Okay.
I've
Just
never
their
seen
teeth.
just the teeth
Okay. And not in you on the beach or in the
on the
water.
beach.
Okay,
Right.
good. How do you get that clear? When did you come up the idea of blending it with a fairy tale? I think that's what's so magical about this book.
Well, I've always thought the kids learn better anyway if you put a little moral in a story that's fun.
Mhm.
So the moral is basically take care of our ecology and find shark's teeth because sharks lose an entire mouthful of teeth. They have all their teeth when they're born, and each as they fall out, a new row pops up.
Mhm.
So they lose a lot at once. So you don't find them much on the East Coast because the waves are just way too hard. But on
Mhm.
the West Coast, the soft waves and the beach are full of people looking for shells and shark's teeth.
Amazing, amazing. Tell us a little bit about the magical world of the water fairies and their role in Venice Beach.
Okay, the way I started it out was that the water fairies were responsible to pick up all these because there are just so many of them. So they built all these underwater storage facilities. And as you know, the Gulf is very well known for its hurricanes.
Hmm.
So along came a hurricane and broke down all their storage facilities, and they just couldn't get them all back together. So they had to find a way to get not get rid of, but to spread out these shark's teeth to make it easier. So they visited their cousins of the land fairies, and they came up with a way to do it.
Wonderful, wonderful. Tell us about the illustrations in your book.
Actually, the company that did this made the illustrations from hints I gave them. I
Mm.
showed them some pictures that a friend of mine had drawn, and they just elaborated on it. The funniest thing was these people had never seen shark's teeth, and when they sent me the first edition of what my pictures would look like, I said, "No, they're not molars. Shark's teeth do not look like molars." So
They're a
I
little
took
pointier than molars.
yes, a little sharper. So I took pictures of several different kinds and sent them, and they did an absolutely marvelous job of making them look like shark's teeth.
Yeah, I think they did a great job for sure. In your book, also, there are themes of cooperation and recycling. Tell us why you included all that.
Well, our planet needs recycling. There's no way around it. And I have so many friends who collect shells, but now collecting the shark's teeth too. So we all have these nice little jars of shark's teeth sitting around. Some of them turn them into necklaces. Some of them just leave them there in bowls to play with. And my favorite thing to do is go find one on the beach and give it to someone who hasn't found one yet.
Mhm.
Because once you start somebody on it, they're hooked. They're just hooked.
Okay, like I told you before the interview began, I was down in Venice Beach and it was beautiful water, beautiful sand, a gorgeous day, lots of people, no sharks in the water, fortunately, but I didn't come across any shark's teeth. How do you find them?
That's kind of an interesting thing. Sharks' teeth, when they come on land, they tend to roll. So you don't actually see the pointy part, you see the gum part, what's
Hmm.
kind of rounded. And if you see something shiny, it's usually a broken shell. But if you keep looking, you'll find that very first one. And it really is, if you look at a shark's tooth, it has a, it looks like the gum line is there and it's very curved. And then the shark's tooth is pointed in whatever kind of shark it is. I mean, there are many different kinds of sharks and many different
Right.
kinds of teeth. And again, the area down there, I don't get to the private beaches, but I understand on the private beaches there you can find a lot of the larger fossilized ones from back in ancient times. One of these days I'll find a way to get on one of those private beaches and go.
Exactly. I think all you got to do is walk along the shoreline and then you're
Yes,
good.
but
Up to
it's a
the
long
high,
shoreline. It's a
yep.
very long shoreline.
Yeah, that's true. Very, very true indeed. The water fairies face challenges in their quest. Tell us a little bit about how their solutions reflect real life environmental practices.
Well, the first part of it is I had them take the shark's teeth to the Atlantic side, but the Atlantic side is a much rougher side.
Mhm.
No matter what time of year it is, winter's really bad over there, but
Yeah.
it's very rough thing, and the beaches are long and flat, but they don't have long shelf.
Mhm.
It goes fat. It drops off very rapidly. Whereas on the Gulf side, it's usually a longer, slower
Mhm.
walk out to things, and they kind of build up along the edges is the way they do it. And it's just by people taking them, it's not that they're hurting anything in the environment, it's something that the environment is giving us and it's something we can enjoy.
Yeah.
So that's the way I looked at it.
Have you had the pleasure of sharing this book with any children, reading it to them, or that kind of thing?
I have a friend down in Florida, and she said every time she goes to visit, her grandkids come running to her and say, "Read me the book, Grandma. Read me the book." So she says it's getting pretty tattered. She's going to go buy a new one for
Well,
her.
that's good. I'm glad that the child enjoys it that much. Also, the next time I'm in Venice Beach, and it might be there already, but I hope to see your book in a lot of the gift shops and in the windows and in the bookstores because it's such a great souvenir to go to Venice Beach and go home with your book, right?
It is. I had originally planned on trying to attach shark's teeth to it, but that never kind of gelled with it. Finding a way to just even find the right kind of baggie to attach it to. So
Right.
if they need to do it, I just need to take my friends there.
Yeah, yeah. I think particularly locally, if you do it at a local on a local level to the bookstore or one of the gift shops to
Right.
put a little shark's tooth in there as a keepsake, I think that'd be awesome. What do you hope readers take away, both young and old, from your story about Venice Beach and its shark teeth?
The Venice Beach is a beautiful place to go. It's warm. The sand's warm. The ocean is usually warm. It's the most beautiful green color you ever saw in the
Hmm.
summers. Like everything else in the winter, it gets darker. But the summer, the color is green and beautiful. You can see your feet. That's a
Yeah.
biggie for me. You can walk into the Gulf and see your feet. So you know what's in front of you. But just to enjoy the beach. And I was there about 4 weeks ago, and the place was packed. And
Yeah.
I met people from Utah. I met people from Canada. So it's not quite the secret it used to be to Floridians.
Word's getting out. It's beautiful. I mean, I think it was a city, from what I read, that was designed around 1900 by a group of local doctors and so forth. And they wanted to make it look European, and they created this amazing, beautiful city.
It is. The architecture is beautiful. It's just a really nice place to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Is this your first book that you've written?
It's the first one I've had published. I've had a
Okay.
couple others. I used to live in Perdido Bay, which is up right side of Pensacola, and I've been working on a book for years about a hermit crab that lives along the shores of that. So if this one keeps going the way it's going, I'll probably be looking at publishing that one in the next year or so.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to that. Any other book? Oh, so other than that one that's already kind of written, are you working on anything new?
No, not right now. Right
Okay.
now, I'm just enjoying the grandkids and my family.
Well, those sound like great things to enjoy for sure. Linda Dunn has written a captivating book. It is called A Tale of Teeth, or How Venice Beach, Florida became the shark's tooth capital of the world. It is a unique fairy tale mixed with real life information and facts, as well as info about environmental challenges that are faced by our beautiful shores, such as the one in Venice Beach, Florida. Linda, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you, Logan. It's been a pleasure.
Pleasure's been all mine. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.